the most unfortunate and the ultimate, unfortunately, most ultimate human imagination is this idea of gender and the gender stereotypes and the roles that these stereotypes can play. This has been the history. So, in order to overcome this, what we can do in technology, you know that the famous battle which is going on currently last few weeks between Google and Tinmit Gebru, one Ethiopian lady who was the employee of Google, and she resigned, as Google says, and she has been removed, what she says. But that is again on the issue of, the violence creating, the divide creating, interpretations of languages which are more inclined towards racism, more violence, more gender discrimination, and things like that. So she is now fighting. She is even bringing an environmental perspective, in the sense that the Google's bird takes so much of compute power and therefore so much of electrical power that so much of carbon dioxide emission is taking place when you translate from one language to the other by using artificial intelligence and things like that. We have to remember that there is a big data. On the basis of the big data, there is a machine learning. And based on the machine learning, there are artificial intelligence algorithms which are created. Base is the data. So if the data has discrimination, if the data has biases, then the next two steps will have biases. So we have to guard against it. The corpuses of data have to be free, and therefore large number of people have to be brought into the field of using information technology and contributing to it, because ultimately it's a collaborative exercise. The data cannot be a private property. There is a lot of discussion on privacy, but data is something which is not like gold. You can keep it in your cupboard. It can be copied. It can be pirated. So private property is not the solution. The corporate possession of data is even dangerous. And nowadays it is seen that, when it is in corporate possession, then it can be used to decide who should be the American president. As all of you know, the cases in the previous elections, the election when Trump got elected. And it cannot be state possession because states can also use it coercively. So there has to be a universal, common property of all the humankind. The data has to be universal common property of all the. So it is more of a movement of commons, creative commons. They should possess, the entire humankind should possess the data, not the state, not the corporation, not the private person. So in that direction we have to go. Then these biases will get removed in technology. So data is the real oil of 21st century. Now, looking at the more practical aspects of it, that we have to start from the school. We have to bring the clarity before the girls that there are no stereotypes of roles in the industry. All can perform those roles. Then only there will be increasing percentages of women enrollment in engineering colleges, which Professor Rajan Belkar rightly mentioned, that it is almost like 80-20 kind of scenario there. Dangerous. So first important thing is the right from school we have to start and bring the exposure to various careers in information technology and show that the girls equally possess the necessary, attributes and abilities and capabilities, and, they can discover the passions, because the child of a human being never gets on the platter that these are your, passions, these are your capabilities. It never gets. The child of a human being has to discover, because human brain develops only after its birth by interacting with environment, unlike the other brains of other animals. So we can develop the girls to believe that they can also make. So their passions have to be discovered. There has to be a school which is not Bandi Shala but Sandhi Shala. Okay, it should give opportunity for discovery of passion, discovery of abilities and capabilities, and building them in terms of skills and competencies. First thing. Second thing is that breaking the stereotypes of roles for which you require to present large number of role models before them. Unless you see that other ladies are going ahead, you don't feel like taking that. It's a common, unless you are exceptional. So it has to be mainstreaming of those roles and bringing the role models. And there are a large number of them now, fortunately so. But we have to bring those ladies from the industry into the schools and, make them talk to the girls and, generate a confidence and instill that kind of inspiration and things like that. Third important thing is blind hiring. That is, we must persuade companies that they will never ask the sex or the gender in their application form, because lots of artificial intelligence engines nowadays, filter the female gender. Very careful we have to be. So blind hiring is very important. Women representatives to be there on the selection panels. Wise women representatives to be there on the selection panel. Then we have to have the policies for pay parity. We have to have the parity for the positions in the hierarchy. That same age male and same age female will normally have the identical hierarchy, provided they have identical work experience and relevance of that work experience. Very important. Just because she may be pregnant, she should not be, denied that promotion or that role or that designation. In fact, every pregnancy should be celebrated in the company. That should be the policy. We do that in MKCL. For the last 2 decades, we celebrate pregnancy. So I have a large number of lady employees who very freely, go for pregnancy, and then they enjoy the full continuity in the service in MKCL. We are a very different company in the sense that we give all Saturday, Sundays off to the lady employees, and second Saturday and fourth Saturday off to the male employees. When they challenged this in front of me, I said, you give me the proof, I trust you. You give me the proof that you will do all the household work. You give me the video clips of that. I will also give you the holiday for all Saturdays and all Sundays. So far, none of my honest employees, male employees, have given me that kind of evidence. So the practice continues. More important thing is that the work from home. We have practiced work from home much before Corona because people think that Corona has given work from. No, we have been practicing work from home for lady employees right from 2010 or so, perhaps even before. Because once she gets pregnant, if you give her work from home, she produces even more work. There is a sense of belongingness to the company. There is a better loyalty being built with the company. And she is more productive, more engaging, more resourceful, and more joyful. And she feels that the company cares. Very important. Then the work from home after maternity. Maternity leave, etc., as per government norms has to be given. Many companies don't give that. I will not discuss that. That is a law, and that must be enforced. If not, then it should be challenged in the court of law. That is fine. But giving them the work from home after maternity and giving them more, challenging roles, more critical roles, more critical tasks, critical to the success of the company, so that their self-esteem is even further enhanced. That, because I am doing something, my company is, competitive or progressing, or its bottom line is improved. That kind of confidence, that kind of self-esteem has to be generated. Otherwise, some great, sort of generous bosses give some low level of difficulty or low level of work, simple work to the girls, to the ladies after pregnancy. And culturally also, these values have been ingrained that men are aggressive, ambitious, competitive, women are submissive, subservient, subordinate. So in a meeting, typically, the boss would just easily say to the female employee that you please take down the notes. Now, actually, there is no need to take down the notes once voice note kind of applications are rampant. But there is a cultural vestibule which remains. Anyway, but the most important thing is the critical roles to be given to the lady employees after they join from pregnancy while they are doing work from home. Another important thing is the mainstreaming programs, the mainstreaming learning programs after they join back, because there is some gap and technology goes faster. The tools and methodologies, change faster. In most of the our companies that the juniors use such tools and methodologies that bosses have never even heard of. This is the current scenario in the industry. So I was mentioning about the mainstreaming of the lady employees soon after they join. So lots of tools and methodology change, and that's why they need to be trained and retrained, and learning programs can be given even while they are on maternity leave or post-maternity leave, so that they do not feel, inhibited, or there is no inferiority complex that my other colleagues have gone ahead. And also, I would recommend that, that there have to be some kind of bouncing back awards. When she bounces back, you can define the typical, criteria for bouncing back, and bouncing back awards should be given to the lady employees who have come back after the maternity, and support should be given, etc. Now, I will just explain few points and then conclude that when I started in Maharashtra, the digital literacy movement, where the digital divide has to be bridged 20 years ago, I appealed to my 5,000 partners that their wives must become their business partners. And I must tell you that today, they have not even become business partners, but 40% of the centers, 2,000 plus centers, the principal partner is their wife and they are the subordinate partners. So another thing is, when the girls take to information technology education, when we discovered that when ladies teach in the laboratories, in the computer laboratories, then more number of girls enroll for computer education. So we insisted that lady teachers must be appointed across all our 5,000 centers, and we saw phenomenal results. Why I'm telling you this is the industry, the capitalist mindset understands the business and the bottom line. So you should tell them that 50% of the clientele in your business is women, and more women clientele comes when you have women in the service staff. So this is why I'm telling you, you have to be business wise also, not just taking ideological positions or philosophical positions. Finally, I would say that the technology can also do one great contribution when the girls join in a big way, is all this virus of gender bias, which has crept into technology. This gender bias, that has crept or in the technology can be removed by more participation of the girls, who can create some kind of antivirus for this gender bias virus, or they can write, anti-ransomware for this gender bias ransomware. And that is what we should look at. The same is to be done for democracy. We have to create antivirus for, all tendencies on social media to kill our democracy. We have to protect our democracy, because more democracy will be threatened by technology, and it has to be also protected by different types of, qualitatively different types of technologies. not just quantitatively. So these are some of the challenges. So there is a sex versus gender understanding, difference versus discrimination that has to be understood correctly, nature versus culture. Nature has given us all enabling conditions. The culture is forbidding us. So we have to change the culture. The fairness versus sameness. Men and women, male and female will never be same. But fairness can prevail to give same opportunities to both. That is a debate. The debate has to be also about equality of enabling conditions rather than mere equality of opportunities. You have to bring enabling conditions to be identical first, then equality of opportunities. There is a condition, there is a discussion that has to go for the facts versus imagination. We have to go by facts and not just human imagination of giving lower stature in the hierarchy to the men, to the women above the below the men. And the debate also has to be about mind versus mindset. What comes in our mind and what are our old mindsets? We have to overcome them. So these are the discussions that are necessary to remove the gender bias. Finally, on a very lighter note, I will conclude by stating one very blatant statement of a feminist journalist in United States. Her name is Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem says that there are very few jobs that actually require a penis or a vagina, and all the other jobs should be open to both the sexes. Thank you.